It's true. I just verbally diarrhea and just do it. And do you know what? I'm going to say, you know what, Sarah? I love
I'll start.
you. You do it all. No, not really.
You ready? Start us
I'm
off.
ready.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and it's so great to see you all. We are here with the wonderful Tabatha, who is the author of The Old Scarecrow. We are
Woohoo!
super excited about this book. It is the most gorgeous book, upside down, Tabatha. So there we go. Most gorgeous book ever about the most wonderful scarecrow and his bunch of fabulous friends that help him to keep his dream alive. And we're super excited to have Tabatha here with us, as well as my wonderful Katie,
Hello,
to
work wife.
talk about the wonderful book, Tabatha, and all her writing, wonderful marvelousness, and just get you up to speed with what we're up to with this book at the minute.
Yay!
A little bit about the story, your inspiration.
So you want me to start?
Go
You just verbal
Um,
diarrhea. Go for it. I'm
about
ready.
the scarecrow.
so the inspiration for the story came from my brother-in-law, Bob. Um, he had stage 4 cancer, 46 years old. And while he was in hospice, he was always sort of the big brother of the whole family, always the protector, looking out for everybody. And while I was sitting with him while he was in hospice, I thought about after, how it would be after he wasn't with us anymore, because that was the inevitable. It was going to happen. And I envisioned him just always looking over us all. So that's where Tom sort of came from, and I jotted down a lot of ideas while he was in hospice. And it wasn't until his passing that I put it all together. And then I had my niece, Jaylyn, sort of give it a read over to see what she thought. And she absolutely loved it. She said, Auntie, I love this story. Just because it was difficult to decide to not give him a voice. So he's the character in the book who literally has no voice, but yet he he represents so much meaning. And there are people in this world who are just silent warriors. So I thought Tom would be good at representing that someone just being a good friend could be just be there being a good listener. So it was important for me for him not to have a voice in that way, but still represent so much to the animals because he was familiar. They could count on him. He was the listener. He was the face that they saw every single day. So he represented so much on the farm without ever speaking a word. And I thought that was important.
It is
But
important and
that's
very different to a lot of stories read where the main character says nothing. And I think
nothing.
it's beautiful. But like you say, it's that representation where he brings everyone together. And I think it's
Right,
a beautiful, beautiful story. And yeah, like I said, I've
right.
never really seen that in a story before. And it definitely caught our eye, didn't it, Sarah, about just how different this story was.
Yes,
The fact that he's always been the one, like you say, watching over it, almost like
yes,
the way is over the corn. And yet when
right,
he everybody then rallies round and
right.
all
Yes,
after all those years suddenly are
right,
there. They're
right.
gorgeous.
Yeah, that was my favorite part when I was writing it, is to build that the problem of losing someone who's never said a word, but know that they needed him there just to continue watching over them. And that was sort of how I saw Bob at that time, that even though the voice wouldn't be there, he'd always be there watching over.
Oh, see, now
So
that
it
is
just
beautiful.
all, yeah, it all evolved into that. And then a lot of people have asked why I named him Tom and not Bob. I have a nephew who suffered a traumatic brain injury. His name is Thomas. And there was a chance he may have not made it. Thank goodness he did. So Bob never got his miracle, but Thomas got his. So
Oh.
I thought it would be Bob would love to have the scarecrow named Tom because Thomas survived this traumatic injuries. So I just thought it was a great way to bring two people I love so much into one book.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
No,
might
that's
start
lovely.
crying. It's so beautiful. It's
No, it's so
such
lovely.
a beautiful place, like so deep in your heart. Like, how
Yes.
could you not love this book?
Yeah,
Just
I fell in love with it. That's what it was. The whole time I was writing it, there was so much meaning behind it that but I wanted it to be fun too, because if you knew my brother-in-law Bob, he was a character in himself. He was very funny, very punchy, as you would say, cheeky. He definitely was a lot of fun. So I knew he'd love the animals to be, sheep can't say a thing, and I knew that he would love all those parts of it. So I wanted it to be sweet, but yet still have that humor where kids could relate to the characters being silly and trying to solve the problem of saving Tom.
Yeah.
what I found really lovely as well, and what people might not know is when you actually went and um published the book and then you've gone and out into the community and you did your book launch. You did quite a lot around your book launch, and you had
Yes.
the is it Forever Angels? I don't want to say it wrong.
Yes, Annie's Angels.
Annie's Angels, apologies. Yeah, Annie's Angels,
Yes,
because you did the whole dedication of the day around your brother-in-law, Bob, as well, didn't
yes,
you? And raised quite a lot of money for
yes, we
the
did.
charity. And I just,
Yes.
if you wanted to have a talk about that as well, because it was such a lovely day. And we were so sad we couldn't, just get in our
Oh,
private jet and get over there
Yeah.
I
and
know.
come
It
and
was
support you.
wonderful. The crowd was wonderful. The food, the cafe there, Proba Cafe, they did all the catering. So we had delicious food. Annie's Angels was there throughout the entire event. Every book that was sold, I was giving money to Annie's Angels in memory of my brother-in-law. My sister was there, Bob's wife, his children were there. So it was a wonderful moment to give back because my sister being such a young widow during that time and her kids being young, the community sort of just embraced them. And she always says it took that village to keep her above the water. If she didn't have the people coming out and being there for her, and I mean, just as simple as dropping off a meal, she felt like she would have drowned. So they kept her afloat during the hardest time. And that's what Annie's Angels represents for families is that they help support the meal, a piece of equipment that you may need, a hospital bed, a wheelchair, a ramp to get into your house so you can hospice at home. There's so much that they do for people who are ill and have cancer and other illnesses. So they're wonderful.
No, I
So
think
I chose them. Yeah, and it was a great event. And it was a little emotional because, seeing my sister so proud, and the book meant so much to her as well. So it was great. And I love that you believed enough in me to give me this opportunity to bring the book into everyone's hands. I love it.
oh, well, we love
Needed.
you. We love the book as well. We love it. So, obviously, if you haven't bought the book yet, please do
Yes.
go and buy it. It's beautiful. But we want to talk a little bit about the book. So, what would you say, Tabitha, was your favorite, maybe illustration? Because Mark Millicent illustrated this. If you haven't checked out any of Mark Millicent's work, then please do. I think it's at markmillicent.com. It's got some lovely, lovely illustrations on there. But for you, which one is your favorite illustration? Also, what's your favorite part in the book? Which
I
words
I
resonate
love
most?
I love when it's a miracle when they see him after he's just, he's got his cheeks are raised to have a grin. I really love that part of it to see the magic of that where they just come out and the whole it's a miracle moment. I love that. I love the happiness that he's still there on the farm.
Yeah.
I love that part. That's a special part. I
Yeah.
love it, but I really love that moment where everybody's just so shocked at what's happened.
Also, I like it because obviously I don't want to give too much away, but just
Yes.
the help of an unlikely friend. I like that. That's a
Yes.
little. All right then. I'm gonna show you my favorite. You ready? It's when he gets the shave.
Yeah.
Yes, finally. Yes, I love that.
Sarah,
That
any
is so
particular one for
great.
you?
Yep.
I think what Tabitha was saying about how she wanted to keep that little level of humor and cheekiness, it definitely comes through in the illustrations. I think Mark was the perfect person for it because he adds little tiny things in that you don't notice. Like I think just before he has his miracle, and one of the illustrations has got the crows with little
I'm
wheelbarrows.
just looking for that one. I knew which one you were going to say. I'm just
I
looking
just
I
for it
love
now.
I
that.
love that
This one,
bit.
isn't it?
Comes out the real humour of
Yes, that's so fun.
the story. Um,
Yes.
and I love that he adds those little touches and elements to things in his illustrations. That's
Hmm.
one of my favorite illustrations of
Yes, that was really fun.
the yeah.
I
Um,
think so too.
so tell us a little bit about the work you do, because I know you do little school visits and things like that. So talk to us about your website and what other things you offer within your community.
So I do writing workshops where I go into schools and we do story planners and I teach kids about coming up with ideas within their own environment because that's the hardest thing for kids. You know, they'll sit there, I don't know what to write. So I go in and I pick characters, we pass out characters. On their planners. So rather than sitting and trying to invent the character, all the papers that are passed out, each child will have a different character in front of them. And then we talk about, say, it was a scarecrow. I would say, well, what kind of problem might a scarecrow have? And where would you find a scarecrow? So we talk about all the different problems, and then we talk about the story events, the way the character would go about trying to solve that problem. So if you have a scarecrow and the scarecrow has a problem, what would be the first thing that scarecrow would do to try to solve that problem? So it tries to the workshops try to inspire kids to look at problems in their own environment. We'll talk about the school bus or the lunch woman or man, your school teacher, your school librarian. What kind of problem would a librarian have? And then from there, we build stories, and it's a lot of fun. I love it. That's my favorite gift, honor. Of being an author is the platform it allows me to enter a school and be with 300 to 500 kids in a day, going from group to group, inspiring them to create their own stories. So it's less about me selling myself as an author here, buy my book.
Yeah,
It's more about me helping kids believe that they too can be an author. We could be buying their books 10, 15 years from now.
exactly.
So that's my main goal. Not that I don't love to sell my books while I'm there, but my main goal is to inspire them to write. And with that comes people wanting to buy your book. So that's a great approach too. But I really want to inspire kids, not just to read, because I to be a good student, I think reading starts at home.
Mhm.
So you need the tools at home first. Teachers are great, but it has to start at home. It has to be in the environment at home, and you have the tools you need. And I believe a child who can successfully read and comprehend, um, they're limitless. They are limitless. If they can comprehend and read with confidence, what a gift, what a difference for them as a student. So if you have a student who's struggling to read, that's a little bit more difficult for them. Comes with the embarrassment of, not being able to succeed something, or trying to succeed books that may not be at their level. So we see that a lot too, especially as an author in a school. I'll see children picking up chapter books far beyond what they're capable of just to have it because their friends do, but they're missing out on developing getting the books that are at their level and growing from there. So it's a lot, there's a lot to reading.
There is a lot, but you're right, it does begin at home, and teachers can only
Yes,
do so much. And if you can instill that love of reading in your child, the
right.
possibilities are endless, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are endless. And that's, like I said, being an author, that's the platform, the gift where I get to walk into a school and all eyes on me and I get to inspire. And that's everything. And
Oh,
it takes a while to get there, having books come out. I've been writing children's books over 25 years, so
Mm.
it's been a while.
been a
Yeah.
while.
Been a while.
Tell us more about that, because obviously, like you say, you've been writing for a long time, and Scarecrow is not your first book. So have you got
No.
real like favorite books you've done in the past, like some highlights?
Um, so I think one of the biggest moments for me as an author, I would have to say there's a publisher in the United States called Lee and Low Books. So they're the award-winning multicultural children's book publisher. So I wrote a book, Silent Sam, and it's about a little boy who has a parrot. He wants to teach his parrot to talk, and he does everything to teach this parrot to talk. And at the end of the book, is that really a gift? Because maybe at the end he wants him to be silent. So that's why the book is called. It's a really funny story, and I submitted it to them. I don't work with an agent. I've chosen not to. I did not think they would ever, because over 20 years ago, you got the call, not the email. So when they called and said, "We love Silent Sam, we want to publish this book," I couldn't believe it. And I wanted to run up and down the streets saying, "Yes, yes, they're going to publish my book," because every book that you have published is important, but having someone like Lee and Low at that time say, "Yes, we love your book," I wanted the doors to open for more opportunities, and with that came school visits. With that,
Mm.
I was in the newspaper. I did a little talk show here in New Hampshire. So it did open doors that maybe being with someone else wouldn't have at that time. So I appreciated that. So that was a big moment. Oh, and that book is still in publication. I believe it's been through 11 printings, and it's still selling today. It celebrated 20 years last year.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow, that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah. Yes. So, and I'm hoping we're going to see that.
Yeah, always. Always.
Right.
So this has also come out on audiobook, and I remember, when sending you. So what did you think when you heard the wonderful David Virgo and his audio narrating
Tears.
skills?
I cried. I cried. I thought it was magnificent. I thought I love it. And so when you sent it to me for the very first time, I had a school visit. So I thought I'm going to show the illustrations, but I'm going to play the audio. The kids loved it.
Oh,
It was the best reading I've had. So when I did the bookery and I had my book launch, we did the same thing. I played the audio in the back and showed and just turned the pages, and the kids were like, it was
Yeah.
great. It was great.
oh, I
So
love
I'm going to
that.
do that. I have another event coming up, and it's Portsmouth Children's Day in New Hampshire. And I'm going to be at the Book Nook for 4 hours. So I'm going to do the same thing during my reading. I'm going to play the audio.
Oh.
So much fun.
Wow, it is. It's lovely. The way David has illustrated it is beautiful. Illustrated it. Audio narrated it is
Yeah.
beautiful. And I think, if you haven't listened to it, then you definitely have to download it from Audible.
Yes,
It
you're
is
missing out
available.
if you haven't heard it.
Exactly.
It's
And
amazing.
if you've already got your subscription, it's free when you download it. So go download it and listen, because his farm animal voices and noises.
Oh,
Fabulous.
it's so good. I've played it so many times. I love it. I love it.
I love it. It was so much fun to edit. He's such a great person to work with. So
Yes.
David Virgo, you're awesome. We love you.
And it's funny because my grandson slept over and he kept saying to the Alexa to play the book. So we kept listening to it. It was really funny.
Brilliant.
It is, it's
Hmm.
wonderful. I do love it. So just
Yeah.
before we say goodbye to you, what we'd like to know is what you've got coming for the future or any advice you'd like to give anyone that's wanting to publish the book. That's two questions. Let's go with what your plan is for the future. Let's go with that one first.
Still writing. Just finished another manuscript, so another special one. So to get that submitted out and published, so I can have more books coming in the future. Continue promoting the Old Scarecrow because I really want kids to have this book because I really think it's a great book.
Mm.
Not because it's mine. It came together, the teamwork between us all. It's
Mm.
one of the most beautiful books I've ever held.
Yeah,
It is, it's wonderful. I love it. I love the story. I love the illustrations. I love the audio. I want more kids to have it. I think they'd really, really love it. So that's my goal. And for anyone looking to be an author, I would say to keep writing, research your publishers, go to their websites, see what they publish before you submit, read their submission guidelines. Some open at certain times, want certain things. You really have to do your homework. I dislike saying it, but sometimes you have to pay your dues. You have to do the work. You have to have a clean manuscript when you submit it. And just join book groups or, really get to know the type of book you're writing. So if you're going to do children's, read more children's books. You can't, you sh you can, but you shouldn't be writing children's books if you're not reading them too. So I think that's important. I think just really getting with your genre and getting to know it and getting to know the publishers you're going to submit to.
definitely. That's some brilliant advice. So I would just say, everyone just go buy, download, listen, love the book.
Yeah.
Sarah would have her copy, but we did a library visit of this and I stole it from her. So this is from Sarah, and this one's from me.
I'm having
Please
that.
do. Please do go and buy the book or download it on Audible. And please do go
Yes.
visit Tabitha on her website. She's at magicscribes.com. She's got loads and loads of lovely things on there for you to have a look at and lovely, amazing other books she's also written and published. So please do go check Tabitha out. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. You're the best.
Yes, I am.